The years leading up to and during menopause are a rite of passage. The wise woman inside of us is calling to slow down, to take stock, to speak our truth, to burn away all that no longer serves us, ready for our next cycle of life. The good news is, with the support, community, connection, and most of all, sharing our stories and being truly seen and heard, we will travel through this powerful, sometimes painful, heroine's journey and out the other side. Welcome to the Menopause Podcast, real and raw stories of midlife and mental health. I'm your host, Kylie Patchett, menopause self-care coach and storyteller, and I am so glad you found us. Let's get on with the show. Hello, everybody. This is my first episode back recording since we had a break after season 1. Welcome, Tory Archbold, our lucky first guest for season 2. How are you?
I am feeling very honored and very grateful to be your first guest on season 2. So thank you so much for reaching out and believing in the power of connection.
I totally do. I don't even know how I found you on social media. I think I was actually looking for something around self-belief and I was like, who is this woman in this magical pink book? And here we are talking. So yes, here's the power of social media and messaging. You have an amazing story to share. So where shall we start? What I would love to start with, one of the things that I've read about when you're talking about your story is it took me 45 years to figure it out. You want to just start? That's a good introduction to a midlife.
Maybe a little bit less. I think definitely 4 decades to truly find my power and step into it. You know, I think for anyone listening out there in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or even that they have, teenage children, there's no rush to find yourself, Kylie. You can do it in any decade, at any age. But I guess it all comes from liking what you see in the mirror, and that's so important to us as women, or if, you've got some male listeners out there.
Yeah.
If you don't love what you see, it's very difficult to live in alignment and actually to be able to create and deliver impact for others. And so I guess, where my story starts is, in my teen years, no one really believed in who I was or what I wanted to become. So on the outside looking in, looked like I had this perfect life with a beautiful family, but actually it's pretty miserable. No one really backed my big dreams. And so I took myself off on the working holiday visa to London, like many good Australians out there.
The adventure awaits.
Exactly. And it was my training ground. And I was really lucky because you were allowed to work in these 12-week stints. And I thought to myself, everyone wanted to box me and take me off to university and learn how to do interior design so I could be the ultimate homemaker. Whereas I knew that I was going to be something a little bit more than that. I felt like I had more to give and I had a bigger gift to unleash and share. And I had the opportunity to work at Viacom. Columbia TriStar, George Lucas Films, 20th Century Fox. And I fell in love with the power of storytelling. And there was something really compelling about deep diving and listening to other people's stories, their game-changing moments, like what took them to the top of their game. And while I understood that, a lot of people's stories were fabricated because I was in the thick of media land, right? And in those days, celebrities, they really were hiding behind closed doors. They were not stepping forward and being true and authentic the way that they are today because they felt exactly like you and I, right? That they would be judged. But what I felt was that there was a magic in taking people on a journey. And when I came back to Australia, I was 23, 24 years old and I wanted to still work in media, but media was so far behind what it was, overseas. But I had this passion and I just said to myself, I couldn't find the right job. So I said, I'm going to create my own destiny. I'm going to create my own brand communications agency. I was 24 years old. I had no money in the bank. In fact, I think probably a credit card company was chasing my trip around Europe. And we're brutally honest. And I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I created Torstar. And the whole idea about Torstar, and I know that you have a lot of people that are into energy healing and manifestation listening to these podcasts, was I had no business plan.
Yeah.
But I had self-belief. And I also believed in the magic of new beginnings and the magic of thinking big to attract those opportunities that were going to really allow not only my business to propel forward and my growth and my learning, but that I was going to be the conduit for others to rise and shine. And, you know, fast forward 20 years, I had 22 staff, 10 freelancers, at times 2 assistants just to run everything because I was a single mom. And I worked with the world's best. And I feel truly grateful to the fact that when everyone else said that, no, you shouldn't do that, I just went, fuck it, I will. And I can, I will. And yeah, that's basically the first journey of my life.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. There's so many different threads that I want to pick at. I want to go right back to something that you said about, you know, on the surface, I'm this kid, I've got this happy family, etc. Do you remember what were the big dreams that you had as a kid? And were you sharing them with people and they were kind of going, oh, Tori, that's just too far-fetched? Or what was what were the messages that you were receiving from the people around you?
I think that I was in a situation where there was very limited beliefs, I think. And while I had been very lucky to be able to see some of the world, I hadn't traveled all of the world.
Yes.
But I always remembered that my grandma always said to me, you can achieve anything with a good pair of shoes and a good handbag.
Oh, yeah.
I remember just thinking, you know what? The many, many years, I mean, I had an incredible collection of handbags and shoes. I always thought anything is possible when you step into a room. You know, you want to be at the top of your game. And she always said to me, that's first impressions count, right? Now, that's external.
Yes.
But what I learned was the external also leads to the internal. And when you understand the power of the internal, you can actually achieve anything. So she always taught me to dream big. And she always believed in the possibilities of life along with me. And I remember when she was passing over, and I don't share this story very often. In fact, probably not at all on a podcast, but I feel I should be sharing it with you guys. I remember when I was visiting her in the hospital and she kept saying to me, you're not spending enough time with me, Tori. And I said, but I'm going to be spending forever with you. I said, just because you're here now, when you pass over, there's no difference. Yeah. And so I always knew that I had this special gift to be able to really seek the answers and see the runway of life. And when I shared with you before that I didn't have a business plan when I started Torstar, I had my intuition and I trusted it and I backed it. So your question around like, what kind of dreams did you have? You know, they were always in my head. Like I was always given this extraordinary opportunity and I wasn't afraid to step up and into it to create and deliver impact for others. But most importantly, if I could see that it wasn't working, I was the first to put my hand up and say, we've got to change tact.
Yes. You know? Oh my goodness.
We've got to change tact. And
responsiveness.
Yeah. And I remember it pissed a lot of people off, but I just, you know, I wanted to create the impact for others where that there would be truly memorable experiences, because I knew that if you had an experience, you could take people on the journey. I knew if you had the power of the story, you know, people wanted more. So yeah, that's where my dreams came from, really trusting myself and trusting that the opportunities that found me were there for not only for me to enjoy, but for me to create a platform for other people to enjoy as well. So
I love so much of what you're saying, particularly the power of stories, because I'm like, why, like when I'm working, because I have another side of my business, which is storytelling, so brand storytelling. And I am always saying this to people. It's like, there is a million of people that do the same type of work as you, maybe not a million, but, you know, many, many, many. What is the why behind what story is weaved behind you and your brand and your why and your passion for doing what you are in the world? And if you could tell that story, then people can opt in and opt out or say, yeah. And when you're talking about, you know, this belief was your business plan, pretty much. That's what you're really saying. Isn't it? It's like, I didn't have a business plan, but I had a bloody bucket load of belief behind probably a truckload of belief behind you. When you're changing tack, that people sometimes got pissed off, because I definitely roll like that. Like, I gotta do this, and then you get into action and feel it not feeling quite right.
You got to put your hand up and say it doesn't feel right for these reasons.
Yes.
And I feel that if we tried it this way, there would be a better outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you have a lot of stakeholders involved in a project or a business, not everyone wants to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And so really you need to make sure that you're really in your power and you believe in what you can create and deliver, and that you have the advocacy behind you. And I think, as I created that impact for others, I had the advocacy. So I was able to put my hand up and say that.
Yes.
And I was able to back myself. But I was also able to say, if people didn't want to proceed with that, I'm like, I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Allow someone else to walk in. And if it's a great success, then awesome. But if it's a fuck up, well, so be it,
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can't take life too seriously. But what you can do is stand in your power and back yourself.
Very true.
On behalf of your clients or on behalf of your team, and say, this is the way I believe we should do it. And here are the reasons why.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, if you've got such fundamentally strong self-belief, it's easy for people to buy into, with their belief, your vision. If you've got that energy of like, I've got this no matter what happens, either it's a raging success or we learn something and we tweak and we shift in that direction. I think that type of energy is magnetic to people, and it's magnetic to magical opportunities. Like, I'm sure you've had many, many occasions in your professional career where something seems to have fallen from above, and it's like, that's because I keep the door open. You've
got to keep the door open, and you've also got to trust the process. And I talk a lot about flow. And, a lot of people say, well, where did these brands find you? Or how did these celebrities discover you? Or, for instance, Kylie, how did you find me?
Yeah.
And it's through authenticity.
Yes.
And it's through anchoring your every move to your values. So my values have always been passion, integrity, and delivery. Like passion, because I'm passionate about creating and building brands. I'm passionate about allowing other women to rise and helping them do that.
Yes.
Integrity, I don't want to work with assholes. Everyone knows that.
Yes.
So
Amen.
I no longer attract them into my life, but that took a lot of years to work out how to break those patterns. I'm not going to deny that. And then the last one is delivery. So you're only as good as the last podcast chat, the last coffee date, connection, presentation. So
100%.
If you understand that what is meant for you will find you in the right timing, and you trust that process, if you have to wait, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you know that the right doors are going to open for you, and the doors that are meant for other people will open for them. Now, a lot of people go, well, what about that big project or that big brand? And it went with, another person. And I say, well, that lesson's for them.
Yeah.
And I bless that and say, but something bigger and better is always going to find itself to me. And it does, because you're in your power and you trust it. And you go, that's okay. But the people that struggle in life and don't move forward and attract greater success in their business, it's because they're based on ego, because that door shut. And it's ego because they didn't win that client. Whereas if you're a heart-led leader, it's easier to be agile. It's easier to show empathy, and it's easier to show compassion, because you've learned some tough lessons in life, and you know that life is not perfect. It's
so
imperfectly
true.
Perfect.
So bloody true. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to be back podcasting. I'm just having a little moment of like marinating in the joy of having these conversations. Okay, so let me ask you this. When you created Torstar, you had a resounding success, you worked with the best and the best. When did you become aware that wasn't where you were meant to be anymore? What kind of, was there an interruption in that flow, or did you just not feel that it was right and go, okay, what's next? Or what was the process?
It's a very powerful question. So I was in the process of my business being acquired by a big global media agency. And I remember not taking the offer because I thought, I'm going to lose my freedom. I'm going to lose my independence.
Yeah, that's one of my highest values.
Yeah. And I remember just saying no to the money and yes to myself. And yes to myself in the sense that going through that process taught me a lot about what I wanted and what I didn't want. And it became really clear to me that if I was to step up into my power, and if I was going to be truly happy, I needed to start shifting out what wasn't lighting me up from the inside out. And when you are preparing a company for an M&A deal, and I've done this alongside many CEOs that have sold their businesses for, 80 to 120 million plus. And I see them go on that same journey. And along the way, it gets about the numbers, and it's not about the joy. It's a numbers game. And so that was really my aha moment, where I kind of sat back and I was like, I'm just not really enjoying this anymore. I don't want to be under the thumb chasing business when business has always found me for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And so it was a bit of an aha business moment, and also recognizing and taking the time to myself to go, okay, well, what does light you up? And creating this space to do that. And so, that was my moment in time where I literally got our client list, and I remember calling people between the childcare center and my office every day for a week. And I called up some pretty big brands, and I said to them, I'm going to be downsizing my business, and I don't think that your brand is aligned with ours anymore. Oh. These are the reasons why.
I love it.
And, I'd like to refer you on to another agency.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people really, truly appreciated that.
Wow.
Because it was the authenticity and the honesty. And I said, look, my business has grown really rapidly because I've got a team, but that team is box ticking a lot of stuff, but that's not really why I started the business, right? You're not box ticking my value set, my truth set, and I don't like where this is heading. And then one or two people, of course, were really angry, but I was just proved to me that that was the right decision to make that call. So I downsized the business and I started feeling better, but I still wasn't 100% happy.
Yeah.
And it just took some time and trusting my intuition that the next journey was going to begin, and navigating what that was a really tough process. I'm not going to deny it, Kylie. Like, it was really tough because I was single for a lot of the time that I was building my business. I was a single mom, so I had a lot of balls in the air. But when I finally came to the realization that I wanted to shut the business, it was really clear cut. Within 6 weeks, we'd literally, out of nowhere, as you say, the synchronicities of life found me, and I'd won Victoria's Secret as a client, Steve Madden and Drew Barrymore's Flower Beauty.
Wow.
And at the time, they're all billion-dollar brands at the top of their game in the US.
Yeah.
And it was an extraordinary experience on so many levels, because you're working with the best of the best. You're with creative teams and visionaries.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Like, it was an extraordinary experience. But each time I stepped into those brands, something inside of me was like, it's over. It's over. It's over. And so by the time I got to launching Drew Barrymore's Flower Beauty in Australia, and I was listening to her, and we created this event for her at Iceberg with all of these influencers, and she was talking about female empowerment and the power of her story and, the game-changing moments and the community that got her through. I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done and dusted. It's time to pass the baton. And so I found everyone in my business a job, brands that they really wanted to work with. And I started again, and I was 44. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I think there's a couple of things I want to pull out there, because this conversation is reminding me of a couple of client calls where we've been talking about, like, when something is not right, and I always imagine it like the trapeze people, you're letting go of one bar and you're in the air and you don't fucking know what's coming next, but you just know you've got to trust. And that trustful kind of situation where it's just like, it'll all work out. It'll all work out. And obviously, the universe likes to match your belief system. So it does. So where do you start at 44? Did you know what you wanted to create?
I knew that I was going on a more powerful journey than the last. I just knew it. But I also knew that I was the same as many women in their 40s and 50s, where they've had great success in their life, and they say, where to from now?
Yep.
And they want to trust the process. They want to step forward, but they don't quite know how to tell their story. And that was the reason why I created Powerful Steps. And now we have this community of incredible women, not only in Australia, but overseas as well, who I've had the privilege to lead through that same process that I went through.
Yeah.
And, it's that process where you feel stuck but then you gain clarity and then you have the power to step forward because you're free of judgment.
Yeah.
Believe in the next journey. But most importantly, you're waking up with this happy heart. And so for me, starting Powerful Steps, it was the same situation that millions of women around the world find themselves in.
Yeah.
But it was stepping into something because I'd been given a framework through my experiences with Torstar to develop programs that I knew could create and build powerful transformations for women. And that's what I do now. And it makes me so happy because we have so many success stories of not only women, like city women, like regional women in remote areas of Australia who have reached out to me because they've been feeling that same unstuck, where to, what's my brand?
Yeah.
What's my personality? What's my value set? Like,
who even am I?
Who am I? Yeah, exactly. But I always say to them, unless you take a step back, you can never take a step forward. You have to take a step back to discover who you are. And through that process, you understand that you've had success and survival, but you also understand that you're not alone in this world because so have millions of other people out there.
Oh, so many. My goodness.
I know, but as women, we forget, Kylie, that we're the same as other people. We just need to be reminded.
Too busy juggling all the balls to worry about what's outside.
So it's reminding women that they are powerful.
Yeah.
And that they have permission to shine. They have permission to feel happiness. They have permission to be loved.
Yeah.
But most importantly, they have permission to share what they've learned with other people. And so Powerful Steps is a very heart-based community of just women that, we had an event last week with CEO Magazine, and these CEOs kept coming up to me saying, oh my gosh, you're like the alchemist. We come in here and we don't quite know what to expect. And we come in and we walk away and we just feel like our cup is full. And then we do like this power zone from women that have come through our programs, and then they come back in and they want to stay connected. And, some of them will text me the week before, go, oh, I thought the call was today. And I'm like, no, it's next week. And they go, we just want to fix the energy. And so what I say is, I lean into the energy of what the women want, and we create curated experiences so that they can rise. And it's beautiful to watch.
So cool. So cool. So cool. When you think about the word power, not the word actually. Well, yes, let's start with the word because this is what's in my mind. I am such a believer in language being, every single word that we speak is a spell, literally. Yeah. And you have used the word power so much. And I know Powerful Steps is your brand. So obviously power is one of those things that you talk a lot about and teach a lot about and help people transform through. When you think about the word power, what does that, like if you closed your eyes and actually brought into your awareness a picture or a feeling or something that represents that word, what would it be?
Alignment. Yeah, without a doubt, it's alignment. It's waking up with an inner knowing that you are where you're meant to be.
Yeah. And always supported.
Yeah. And you are supported and you're guided, and that we're all here for a reason.
Yeah.
But
is it so important to you because you've felt the opposite of that? Like being out of power or out of alignment? Obviously, your previous business experiences, you've had moments where you've gone, whoa, okay, not a right fit. But is that why it's such a key theme or grounding, kind of like the anchor behind?
The word?
Yeah. No. Well, even just feeling not in your power or not in alignment. Is that why?
I think as women, we're not in our power when we're not in our truth. Yeah. So when I was not in my truth, because I had two sides to my story, it was like my professional and my personal, I wasn't in my power.
Yeah.
So it looked like I was this, powerful.
Yeah, powerhouse, yeah.
Powerhouse that everyone refers me to.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that name, I don't know, but I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But, sure, I was a powerhouse, but was I on all levels? No. Am I now? Absolutely yes, because I'm anchored to my truth. So I think for anyone listening and wanting to understand the interpretation around power comes from within when you're able to anchor your every move to your truth, your values, your intent, your purpose. and understand the flow of life and work with heart and not ego.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you could go, oh, she named her business Powerful Steps. And you could go that whole materialistic, masculine energy. That's not what it was at all. It was a phone call to my accountant saying, I'm going to start winding up my other business. I'm starting another one. He goes, you better think of a name. And me literally on Captain Google going, okay, well, I know it's going to be something to do with power. Like, what is it? That's not only going to be a registered business name that I could trademark, but also that I have all the social handles and the IP attached to it. And Powerful Steps, like, literally landed in my lap. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the name of my new business. That's how it started.
So cool.
So it was the synchronicities of life,
Yeah,
so
gave you the nudge.
Yeah, then when you look at the meanings and everything, it really is, it's about alignment.
Yeah. And so when I feel into power, so because I do a lot of somatic based work, like in the body work, when I am feeling into language, it often comes with a sensation that I have on a yoga mat or, in some particular area of movement or whatever. And power always makes me, or the way that I always feel that sensation of that gorgeous, grounded, anchored, clean, it actually feels clear to me, is a very common yoga pose, which is Warrior Two, where you've got your hands out and you're looking down one hand. And it's like, I know who I am and I know where I'm like going and meant to be. But there's also like, there's a kind of a forward frame of where your vision is. But at the same time, your body is really grounded and anchored and stable and steady. And it's like that sort of rock solid feeling. That's why I ask, because I know not everyone feels language like that, but I'm really interested because I'm fascinated about how different people would say, like, you could ask 20 people, what does power mean? And get 20 different answers, 20 different experiences. Can I ask, when you think about a woman who's not in her power, what are the common threads that prevent her? Like, what are the things that she's either missing or not seeing or not identified yet that are blocking that experience?
Yeah, so energy blocks. They're either playing the victim, poor me.
Yeah. Yep.
Number one. Number two, they don't trust themselves. And number three, judgment.
Hey, gorgeous. We interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you'll get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliepatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode. Yep. And when you say judgment, does that come back to those roles or belief systems that we've kind of been implanted?
They feel judged. They feel judged.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not wanting to be them full
Yeah.
self.
And so someone in their power and who has really clean energy fields is able to walk into any situation, anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter about any of those things. People are just going to want to be around you because you've got that magnetic edge.
Yep.
Now, if you're in victim mode, you can't show up like that and attract opportunity. If you
wouldn't be there in the first place, would you?
Yeah, you can't either, from ego or, what are people going to think about me? Well, actually, who cares? Try it by walking in and just being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. So good. So good. So good. I really want to ask, what do you think? So you said you had a daughter. Is that right?
I do, an 18-year-old.
Oh, exciting. I'm just about to have my second 18-year-old. So my
very
daughters are
exciting.
17 and 18, 12 months apart at the moment. So we're right in the middle of birthdays. What do you think that your daughter has absorbed through watching you stepping into this more clear, more aligned life continually? Like, life, business. And I would imagine that the same process has been happening. We're talking about business mainly, but
of course,
I'm guessing
personal as well.
relationships and all of those other things. What do you think she's absorbed? Like not the verbal messages, but the actual.
I think the one really clear thing is that evolution is possible for anyone. Yeah. That's it. Really.
With no limits. So
no. And it's okay to change your path, Yep. That's okay to change your path. And I know, she gets a lot of people still saying to her, oh, your mum was Torstar and she did X, Y, and Z. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was such a long time ago. But for her to say, well, no, actually now she's doing this.
Yeah. And
for some of the people that she works with saying, oh, can you ask your mum if I can have a job? I go,
oh.
Yeah, I go, this is great, because what it means is that, sure, my core audience of women is older, but the younger generation is seeing the possibilities in evolution as well.
So good. That is so good. When we're thinking about the victim end of things, there's a part of me that wants to ask, like, when I think about people around me that are in that kind of, I have no power to choose, this is being done to me, blah, blah, blah. It always feels to me to be a seeking of safety with the mask of the victim over the top of it. Would you agree with that? Do you think that's the same in a business sense all the time?
I've got a different take on it now after many years of dealing with
that's why I'm asking.
People.
I'm curious.
My take on it is, that's your story. It's not mine.
Yeah.
Go sort your shit out and come back to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not equipped to help people through everything. I know what I'm good at. I know where I can help. I know where I can add value.
Yeah.
But it's not in that space.
Yeah. I didn't mean necessarily helping people through it, but what do you think is behind the victim mentality? Like, what's
entitlement.
Oh,
I definitely think entitlement.
Okay.
Entitlement in the sense that they're waiting for a payout. They're waiting for that pay rise. Or someone going through a divorce and they won't take a step forward because they think that they're going to get millions in a divorce settlement. And, we're in that age group where, yeah, sure, that could happen, but you shouldn't bank your last dollar on the fact that will happen.
No.
You should be banking the steps that you take forward on yourself.
Yeah.
and
on
your own
yourself.
independence and your own value and your own worth. And I think when you're playing the victim around those things, and I know how tricky it is to navigate because I've been through it myself.
Yeah.
And so I know that at one point I did play the victim around that as well, which is why I can say this with such clarity. It's own your part in the circumstances that you find yourself in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once you own your part, what you'll realize is that not everything is meant for you and that was just a life lesson.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
yeah. And the thing about victimhood is if the lesson keeps coming back and finding you,
clear it up.
Yeah, you need to clear it up and you need to conquer it. So
clear house. When you feel into, so we've talked about business mainly, but in your personal life, has there been, what's the evolution for, because it sounds to me like even with just going through the client list, it's like I'm literally thinking about you with a red pen, like not that one, not that one, not that one. So you're literally saying, this is what I'm available for, this is what I'm not available for. Was the same thing happening in external relationships? Was it playing out in lots of different?
Totally. I do the same with everything. And so now I'm so clear on where I want to share my time.
Yeah.
And what it's done is it's attracted a higher vibrational person, not only personally, but professionally into my life, which has created clearer energy for people to feel inspired by. Yeah. Now, if I was around toxic people, that toxicity is going to wear off on me a little bit as well.
Yep.
So you can't play that game. So it's really being clear on who you want to share your time with. So when you talk about the red crosses through the clients, do that with friends as well once a year.
Yep.
Like who says you're going to lose 5 kilos in January? That's never happened for me. Everyone knows that, that's the time where you want to catch up with your friends, not be on a diet. But why does everyone make this New Year's Eve, resolution? So 5 kilos at the end of the month. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
But what isn't bullshit is when you actually in the month of January turn around and go, well, who are the people that I've really enjoyed being with last year? Who are the people that I want to take forward into the next year? Who are the people that I want to invest my time with, create space for, and really just enjoy their energy? That's what I like to do so that I'm taking forward the goodness. Yeah. And then the person that's not really up to where you're heading in life and where you're evolving, it's okay to let go of some of the time that you might have given them to create the space for other people. And that's like, you will always find that you will rise if you consistently look at who you surround yourself with, but most importantly, that it's the good energy.
Yeah. Comes back to cleanness, doesn't it? Everything you're saying, I'm like, clarity. Like it's just, it's that decisive. I often think about in terms of traditional Chinese medicine when people are speaking about relationships, and the way that you're explaining it makes me think of the clarity of someone with a metal element. It's just a very clean, sure person. It's like, no, this is where I'm investing my time. I have precious resources and this is how I'm going to invest them. And I'm not available for investing in any other way. So it feels the same to me. All right, let's talk about this magical book. Self-belief is your superpower. I absolutely bloody love this. And I'm sure that's how I found you, because I was Googling around self-belief and I found the pink cover and I was like, ooh, it's my brand colors. I love them. Tell me, why did you create a book about self-belief? And what do you mean when it's a superpower? What does the superpower aspect?
Well, the thing is, I mean, everyone wants to tap into things and they all think that it comes at a cost. But actually self-belief comes for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an internal resource, So I really wanted to share my experiences, but also the experiences of other people that I met along the highway of life. To really share the framework that I've been given through experience, life lessons, but also through the power of meeting incredible people and the lessons that they've also taught me.
Yeah.
And I felt that if I could give that narrative to other women, that they could step up and rise. And it's been quite extraordinary, Kylie, because you want to know a fun fact?
Yes.
And I won't name.
I love a fun fact.
Major Hollywood star said to me.
I think you could.
But they did say, don't go for a pink cover. And I remember saying to myself, but I think that pink cover is going to start a global movement of women who want to rise. And I remember them saying that you need to dull down the cover, the girl boss era is over. And I thought, you haven't got the message that I'm trying to give here. My message is you're a part of a movement. You can have that self-belief. It is powerful.
Yeah.
And I knew through my media days as well that if you have something that creates impact that people want to be seen with, then you can actually create that inspirational knowledge bank that they can read. They can, I go to people's houses and they've got the text, highlighters, and
that's how I roll. I've got
you do as well. Exactly.
Right next to
and I go, wow, what part of the book do you like? Oh, I really love this chapter, and this just really resonated with me. And you know what? I think it's a gift to pay your knowledge forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because self-belief has always been my superpower, I want it to be everyone's superpower. And that's the reason why I wrote the book.
I love it. I love that you're saying it's a free resource and it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is what I love about self-belief. It's like you can use all of that gorgeous juice between your ears to imagine the worst case scenario and imagine how bad things could get or how lacking in support you are in the world. Or you could try self-belief on for size and go, okay, the story I'm telling myself, and you use that language before with the victim, that's not my story,
It's your story. Yeah,
exactly. And the story of self-belief, I mean, when we have belief in ourselves, by definition, our behavior follows the belief that we're setting and the story we're setting for ourselves. I just love it. I poo to the Hollywood celebrity person, whoever that was. I see that cover and what I see is something that is really super attractive and I want to be part of it. So,
Thank you. and they do now too.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, they're not allowed. No.
Everyone's allowed. But I mean, look, that's a good bit of feedback. Because I do think that when you're launching a book or a product or a service, you've got to lean in and get feedback. I mean, when I first wanted to start Powerful Steps, I remember having coffee dates with a whole lot of people in the Australian media.
Yeah.
And I remember this one man in particular who he's incredible. And I said, I'm going to do this. And he goes, I really don't think you should. And I said, why? And he goes, I really just don't think it's the right thing for you. And then I remember asking this other guy who looks after all of these high profile people. And he said to me as well, you will never, ever get a brand partnership. You will never, ever get brand sponsorship. I really don't think this is your lane. And I remember as well just going, gosh, it reminds me of when I was 24 when people said, don't start Torstar.
Yep.
I love going and asking people for feedback. But the thing is, the feedback's not always going to be what you want to hear.
No, absolutely not.
Also, that feedback allows you to step into your power.
Yeah.
It allows you to believe in yourself. It allows you to say, well, yeah, I am going to have a hot pink book and it is going to sell out in the first week, which it did.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I am going to have a business and I am going to attract these amazing brand sponsors, which I did. And it doesn't matter that other people have opinions. The opinion that matters most is is your own, right? Absolutely. It's your own opinion and your ability to back yourself on an idea, or as you said at the beginning of this podcast, back yourself on that big dream and that big goal, because you can translate it into reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And the trust piece, and as you've mentioned a couple of times earlier, when you have trust in the fact that you can follow your intuition and those nudges will always lead you in the right direction, there's actually nothing like you can ask for feedback, but I guess then it's with the filter of I'm sourcing your opinion and then I will filter it through my own self-belief.
Yeah.
And it may not get through to the keeper.
Yeah. Or they could have given an opinion that, oh, yes, Troy, I love it, but that wouldn't have been true to them.
Yes.
What was true to them was saying, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah.
But it was okay for me. And I think that's the key takeaway for anyone listening to the podcast is feedback is fantastic, but it comes down to what you believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, it's free.
And we have to remember that everyone's feedback is given through their own set of internal belief systems and perspectives anyway. So perhaps asking a male of any description, like there's not necessarily going to be the same understanding of the purpose and the power, literally, in what you were aiming to do when they're actually not coming from someone who needs to step into their power, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I asked them because they led female-led businesses.
Oh, okay. Well, then ditch that opinion.
It's even funnier, to be honest with you.
That is actually.
I love it even more.
They should know better. Oh, my goodness. So final question. Where to from here for the next steps for you and the book and powerful steps? Where do you see yourself stepping, pardon the pun, in the future?
Well, I not only see myself, but I see millions of women with me stepping up and not being afraid to share the power of who they are so that they can add value to the lives of others. And ultimately, that's the reason why I created this business. It was really to have a platform for women to feel really supported, and for them to feel that there was a community that was cheering them on. And I never had that with my first business. I came from a very cutthroat industry, and to be able to create that and see the impact that it's delivering is what makes me really happy. So it's not the next powerful step for me. It's the next powerful step for our community.
Yeah, for the movement.
And that for me is something I'm very proud of.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everything from intuition to power to alchemy, to staying in our own lane, bringing our dreams to life. You have been absolute delight for my first podcast interview back. I'm now excited again.
I'm so happy, Kylie. And always stand in your power. That's my one bit of advice. Indeed. I can and I will.
Indeed. Do you know what? Freakily, I've actually got something on my desk and I picked the one that was mine today. I've only just been given those on the weekend. And it says, you can and you will.
Okay, well, we're going to have a snap here because that's in the first chapter of my book. I literally have that in the first
Let's take a little picky.
I've got I can and I will.
Oh, I can't get both of us. Okay. Oh, geez. So hard to do that.
There you go. So
I love it.
It was meant to be.
Snap. Perfect. Where can our beautiful listeners find you and your gorgeous pink book in the world?
Oh, thank you. Powerful-steps.com, but buying in Australia.
Yes.
Your audience Australian?
Actually UK and Australia mostly.
Okay. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Booktopia.
Okay. Perfect.
So, yeah.
Easy. Thank you.
Thank you
so much. What a delicious conversation. Such a good one to start the season off. Thank you so much, Tori. What a delight to meet you. See ya. Thanks so much for listening into today's episode. If you love the show, as I hope you do, please take the time to subscribe on your favorite pod listening platform and rate and review. And for bonus points, if you have a friend or someone who popped to mind as you were listening to this episode, why not hit the share link wherever you're listening and send them a little love bomb. Like, listen to this. Did you know this is normal? I really, really, really would love to get these beautiful stories into the hearts and ears and minds of so many more midlife mavens. And your help spreading the love is truly, truly appreciated. Thank you so much. I'm Kylie Patchett, your host, and have a spectacular day.